We are live with episode 5, and we are going to be joined by the Black Metafest crew in the Black Metaverse and Deeper Tones Collective. Really looking forward to that conversation. Before I jump to our guests today, it's the first time with multiple guests, so bear with me. I think the video might be slightly choppy, but the audio is coming through good, so we should be good. But before I throw to our guests, I want to welcome everyone to episode 5 of the Web3 Warriors. This podcast is dedicated to really kind of harnessing the potential of the blockchain technology and Web3 as kind of a new evolution of technology and the internet more broadly. Here at Web3 Warriors, we really believe that the Web3 opportunities in the blockchain and NFTs specifically, and as we venture into the metaverse, are really offering kind of a new layer of opportunity for creatives in any space, really, and even service providers, even more broadly than just creators, being able to basically sell your services or your creations through NFTs and really certify the authenticity of your creations and then be compensated through the blockchain is offering a whole new kind of avenue for people in this space. So it's a really important kind of educational opportunity that we're trying to present here at Web3 Warriors, and really trying to offer to many creatives who kind of hear about NFTs, and a lot of people are hearing a lot of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or FUD, as we like to call it in the space, and staying away from it, unfortunately, when this is the prime opportunity to really get your foot in the door and find out what's happening. You know, just like at the beginning of the internet, you know, people who were innovative and were able to get their foot in the door early, usually we're able to build pretty interesting projects and be part of something from the beginning, which obviously also has the biggest payoffs. On the Web3 side, we know that there's also regulation and all kinds of other potential things coming down the pipe. We have this opportunity now, you know, to be part of that kind of avant-garde, like really helping to make the space and helping to build it out and decide what this Web3 ecosystem is going to look like. So I should introduce myself. I'm David Krome. I go by Krome in the Metaverse. Thank you again for joining us for Web3 Warriors. I wanted to speak today about like specifically the opportunities that Web3 offers Black creatives, Black and brown folks who historically have been marginalized, historically have had a hard time getting, you know, full compensation for their creativity a lot of the times. And even in some cases where, you know, certain communities were very successful, you know, you can think of Tulsa, Oklahoma, for example, with Black Wall Street, and other scenarios where even that success was actually robbed from these communities, unfortunately. So with Web3, a lot of us are seeing this potential for this new kind of frontier, an immutable option, right? So once you have your work and creativity minted on the blockchain, nobody can take that from you. And you can now sell that work to, you know, your fans, your supporters, with no middlemen, right? So you're cutting out the middleman. This can go for the music industry. This can go for the art industry, service providers, whatever the case may be. You know, eventually there will be no need to really be chasing down, you know, major art symposiums or trying to get a record label and being, you know, treated some kind of way by the record label. Web3 is coming to really kind of break down those barriers and, like I've said, be a new layer of the creator economy. And unlike the prior layers, whether it was YouTube, Instagram, whatever the case may be, which still empowered people to kind of create their own, you know, economic opportunities with their creativity, this one is no longer relying on like one central platform that is at risk of, you know, faltering or often changes their algorithm to make things more difficult for you. You know, through the blockchain, you're really able to get that compensation directly, and you can go as far as building out your own Web3 website that nobody can ever take from you. And when you're selling your NFTs on there, now you've created your own little ecosystem. So that's what we want to get into today and really talk about the potential of Web3 and this creative layer, right? This new economic industry, essentially. And the fact that Black and brown folks especially have this opportunity to get into this industry, start selling your creativity on the blockchain. You know, I've spoken to Kofi, was on this show already, talking about his 3D African masks. It was very important to him, the idea that, you know, these stories that were lost and at risk of being lost to time are now being minted on the blockchain. And he's also, you know, kind of reappropriating those stories that were misrepresented through history and is now telling the stories in an African perspective and being compensated. And that money that he's getting by selling those amazing African masks are actually going back to educational opportunities within Ghana, where he's from. So I think that's a really important example of the potential of what we have in this space. And anybody with any creative ideas can do the same. So with that, I'm really excited to have Adorable, Lachey, and Stefan joining us here via Discord. Let me just make sure you guys are all coming through on the audio before I throw to you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So I'm really looking forward to hearing about what you guys are building. I know there's the Black MetaFest, and then there's also, you know, the Black Metaverse project that Stefan and Lachey are actively involved with. And then Adorable has her Deeper Tones collective as well. So with that, I think I've droned on along enough about the powers of Web3 and what we're here to discuss. So maybe without further ado, I will throw to Lachey first, and then Stefan to talk on the Black Metaverse. Then we'll go to Adorable to share her thoughts on the Deeper Tones and the Black MetaFest. So starting with Lachey, welcome. Please introduce yourself and just tell us what brings you to Web3, and then we'll go through the other three. Welcome, Lachey. How are you doing?
Hi, great to be here. Great to be here. So I'm Venetia Lachey. I go by Lachey for short, so you don't have to say that whole sentence. Okay, so why am I here in Web3? Well, I have what does I have? A couple of things around me at all times, and people on the voice area can't see, but I'm here for these people. I'm here for
Oh, beautiful.
actually, I'm kind of here for my three girls. You know, we talk a lot about the future, and we talk about a lot about our future as Black, you know, individuals, and we talk about, you know, what does the future hold? You know, are we going to be able to build what I love what Adorable says, that, you know, the Black wealth, you know, a legacy. And so I feel like Web3 is an opportunity for us to actually build a legacy. And so that's one of the reasons why I actually jumped into Web3, is to not only be a part of, you know, the arena of supporting it, but also being a part of the arena of being actively participating in it, making it happen for our community. That's a big thing for me, is for us to be able to share information with our community to empower. And so, you know, just to start off the conversation, you know, that's the reason why I'm in Web3, and, you know, some of the things in which I want to make sure happens in Web3, which is the sharing piece.
All right. Thank you, Lachey. That was very impactful, and definitely want to follow up on a couple of points you raised there. But Stefan, welcome. How are you doing? Maybe introduce a little bit about Black Metaverse and what's bringing you to Web3.
Yeah, so, and I appreciate this, David. I see what you're doing in this space, and it's amazing. So I actually sort of come into this area as an entrepreneur and a person, sort of a networking architect in a way. I've traveled globally, and the opportunity came last June to, we call it acquiring property, and one of those pieces of property was Black Metaspace, Black Meta World, and Black Metaverse. And then it just became sort of thinking this through of what this would look like in bringing this to a place on Clubhouse. Metaverse is there, we got that, but to actually have a place that we owned, our culture could be together, and sort of get around a cause of us being a sort of oil. That's how James Andrews put it.
I've heard you use that line before. Expand on the oil metaphor.
Yeah. Oh, I can do that. So a car engine, if you take the oil out, it won't run. It literally won't run. So you hear people say that my engine locked up, and they find out there was no oil in it. So as our culture we're in everything. We're in entertainment. I shouldn't put that first, by the way. We're in medicine, healthcare, you just name it, technology. Um, but we're in these spaces, and if you take us out, it's going to be a whole different world. And I do want to say this: when I say Black Metaverse, we're not looking to like go over somewhere and just be by ourselves, and that's it. We actually have a massive amount of spending power when we get together, and Black Metaverse is just a large ecosystem that works with a lot of different groups. So, very excited about it.
That is
Yes,
exciting
with
for
oil,
sure.
don't work without the oil.
That's it. That's it. I like that. The oil. Let's keep it running.
Yeah.
Adorable. Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you,
Thanks.
David?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome, welcome. So what brings you to the Web3 revolution? And share with us a bit about Deeper Tones. And I believe Black MetaFest was your baby, right? Or you in a group?
Yeah. The work I did for many, many years, 16 years, was in social impact in Oakland, California. And it was really challenging to kind of see all of the different ways that Silicon Valley made all of these awesome opportunities for for a selected group of folks. We really didn't see that type of growth for the Black community. And there was a lot of gentrification, and I saw that. I was like on the front lines of witnessing that. And so I got into Web3. I became a product manager and became an NFT artist, and realized that there could be an opportunity for us to, in this revolutionary movement within the NFT community, the Web3 Black community, that we could support other Black people in being that bridge and helping them join the revolution and get on that fourth industrial wave
That's it.
and kind of not be left behind. And so the Deeper Tones Collective was formed out of this truth that we're the ones that we're waiting for, that as Black professionals, we can solve our own problems. And I'm just betting and voting with my money on Black NFT projects and amplifying them and supporting that my community. And so that's part of what Deeper Tones is creating conversations around Web3, whether that be not just NFTs, but decentralized finance, DAOs, how we can understand blockchain engineering and career paths, working on different chains, learning different types of languages, and support our kind of technical folks, and how we can connect them to artists so there can be Black collaborations and Black projects. And so that was what the Deeper Tones was meant for. And then just this organic connection between us and the Black Metaverse popped up in that opportunity for us to work together to create a festival, and it turned into a 7-day festival for that targets all these different areas within Web3 and creates the opportunity for us to reflect on Black history for Black History Month, our past, our present, and our future as it relates to us utilizing and leveraging Web3 technology, metaverse technology, blockchain technology. And so that's the impetus for what we're doing is making these connections, creating educational and social space for our communities, and then seeing what opportunities can arise once people are connected together and supporting and connecting and amplifying Black voices in the space for financial, economic empowerment, and Black wealth.
Definitely. That's what it's all about, empowerment and harnessing the Black wealth. So maybe before we move on with Adorable, if you could maybe just share a little bit on specifically Black MetaFest and how that fits in with your Deeper Tones collective you just described, and maybe what we can look forward to this week. And then we'll go back to Stefan and Lachey kind of from the Black Metaverse perspective.
Yeah, so we really wanted to work with the current technologies that are available, but also our ancestral technology. This concept of a village, right? This concept of a bunch of different people kind of coming together. You know, in a village, people have different skill sets. And so it's really been a collaboration as it relates to a bunch of different skill sets. We have people who are, again, NFT artists. We have people who are really well versed in these different metaverse platforms that are guiding people through them. Myself and a couple of other people on our team actually have Black built and dedicated metaverse spaces that we're opening our doors to our spaces to invite in the community to have opportunities to learn about Web3. And so there's a multitude of different experiences. There's networking, there's DJing, there's education around supporting our young people. So in a village, you have children and you have elders and everyone in between. And so we're creating an experience where we're really wanting to say this festival is for the Black community. This is something that you belong in Web3, right? Like there's a space for you. And we're wanting to create a really inviting and welcoming environment for people to learn and not be intimidated, because it can be intimidating. Like, what is all of this?
Exactly.
But we've done a lot to try to eliminate those barriers so that people can feel like, wow, like I really do see myself reflected in this festival. I see Black art. All the presenters are Black. I can do this. Like, if you can do this, if I can do this, you can do this. I just started learning this stuff 7 months ago. You can, and I'm producing a festival, for crying out loud, about the subject. It's like, if I can do that, I mean, I have a bunch of skills that I've been cultivating for many years. That's another angle, David, that we want to get to, is that you can apply your skills to the metaverse. You can bring your small Black business into the metaverse. Mm-hmm. You can create a brand new business in the metaverse. Like, so there's things that translate. I think sometimes, when we apply for jobs and we look at the description, we're like, oh no, like I don't meet the description to the T. We're here to tell you that you have transferable skills and there's jobs for you. There's career opportunities available in the metaverse. And this festival hopefully is a bridge to get people introduced, or if they're already in the space, to connect with other people, or if they're already connecting, to showcase what they are. So what you're going to see is people at different stages in their journey, and we're all supportive of it all. You can be at the very beginning stages. You could be someone who, like myself, who's like still learning, but also producing so that I can learn and I can kind of give back to my community at this level. And so that's what we're creating, is opportunities for people to grow. And no matter what, everyone in this experience, I know Stefan and Lachey can attest to this, we're growing as professionals in Web3 by just doing it. Because I think it could be intimidating, but this festival really is about what would happen if a bunch of like-minded Black professionals in Web3 came together in peace and harmony and professionalism and created something phenomenal for the community. So we have 7 days laid out. We have Meta Film Monday, which is about future of entertainment and how entertainment is going. As we can all see, you go on HBO, you're on Netflix, there's all these different platforms, but we're going to be actually in a Black built platform called We Watch Together. And it's going to be featuring Black films and conversations about how we can have our own digital platforms as Black people. Platform. Like, is there a Black Netflix? Can there be? And can we create metaverse influences around that? Tuesday, we're going to be in Crypto Voxels, which is a very very revolutionary product, in that it was one of the projects that was first, like, very early on the metaverse scene. It's very user friendly, so there's low barrier of entry for our community to get into there. Sure. And then there's all these opportunities around creating things like wearables. So really excited to kind of tap into Crypto Voxels and visit different Black owned parcels and get people familiar with navigating in these spaces. Wednesday's our educational day. It's Web3 Wednesday at the Deeper Tones Mansion, which is a mansion that was built by Artsy, this phenomenal Black world builder of alt space.
It seems like
and so people are going to be coming to this beautiful mansion. There's going to be Black art up on the walls. There's going to be panelists and presenters. We're going to have people talking about NFTs, talking about Web3. And it's just like a beautiful environment for people to just get to know what this is and ask their questions. We want people to bring their questions because it's an educational night. Thursday, it's called Historical Thursday. It's in the Seeking Truth Gallery that another Deeper Tones member who's not here, French, she's one of another huge coordinator for Deeper Tones. And she has this beautiful gallery that is about it's dedicated to Sojourner Truth's story,
Oh, wow.
but also opportunities for us to like sit and listen to the different historical contexts around where we come from while we're in a metaverse space. So it's kind of like to the point around our tagline, the future of Black history, right? The future of Black history is going to be for access by our young people, probably through these metaverse spaces that are interactive, that don't just leave it on a textbook. You can walk around, you can meet, you can shake hands with Sojourner Truth, or you can connect to your history within a different format that helps you to really feel that history, and see it and view it in a different way, and create these metaverses that showcase Black history, which is really phenomenal. And then Friday, we're going to be connecting with fashion in the metaverse. We have a lot of fashionistas, a lot of folks that believe in sustainable fashion, and also how that translates digitally, and how we can think about the blockchain technology with sourcing fashion, and how we can build up different again, small businesses can take a cue from that. You know, if it's not fashion, maybe it's a product, and by going to that, you could see how you could essentially utilize blockchain technology or the metaverse to sell products that you own. So we're just thinking about business, fashion, products. We're gonna have a fashion show, so that's kind of fun, a digital fashion show in the metaverse.
That's
And then
exciting.
Saturday is Black Meta Saturday. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling. I hope
No, it's
take a
good.
break.
Yeah, we're getting the full breakdown. It's good. Everybody should
Good,
be
I'm trying to
excited.
just get through it.
Join us
a lot.
this week.
Join us this week. So Saturday is going to be our Black Meta Saturday. That's where we have our kiddos, some young people coming. It's going to be great. We're going to be creating opportunities for young people to teach us things, because David, Stefan and Lachey, like, these young people have things to teach us.
That's for sure.
And this is actually going to honestly be this is really going to be what they're born into. So they're going to take this and go all the way. We're just, we're just old folks, just like, doing the best we can, but we know it's the young people that are really going to be building the future. Our young Black children are going to just be able to take this in and make it theirs. So we're having spaces for Black youth to show their Black NFT art, for them to talk about all of these different wearables I keep talking about, and just to explore the metaverse for young people. And then we'll also have some opportunities to hang out. We're going to be doing this thing later in the evening back at the Deeper Tones mansion, dating in the metaverse. What is that? What does that look like? And that's going to be really fun. I think there's going to be a dating game happening, and it's going to be really interesting and unique to see what that's like.
As long as it doesn't get crazy like those clubhouse rooms. Don't get too crazy over there.
I've never been in those by the way, I'm a square, so I don't go into any clubhouse rooms that aren't about NFTs. Stay away from those rooms.
Shoot your shot.
But Sunday is our last day. Sunday's our last day, and that's our Black Meta Church day, and we're gonna have an actual church service at a beautiful built Black church by Artsy as well, that Stefan had commissioned. And it's going to be our first time checking out this lovely space and just receiving spiritual opportunities to also talk about spirituality across the diaspora and unpack what that means. And again, how can we leverage the metaverse to think about how we can connect spiritually, not just financially, but also spiritually and socially.
Can't forget the spiritual side, for sure. I love it. And that's going to be revealed on Sunday. Artsy's church build. Nobody's seen it yet.
No one's seen it yet.
Oh, wow,
Stefan
that's exciting.
and
that's in alt space, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you have to have a VR headset to get in there? I just had to confirm, because I think I downloaded the client for my PC, but I haven't actually jumped in, because I feel like without the VR headset, I'm like missing out. But I know that, I don't know, you should be able to jump in without one, right?
Right. The first time I went through alt space, Artsy had taken a group of us, and I was just doing it on a Mac, and it was so unbelievable just watching it on a laptop that I knew that there was something amazing there, and I went out and got a Oculus, and it did change a lot, but anybody can access this. And so I'm going to use this to bring up that term 2.5.
All right.
A lot of people, so what Adorable has done, and the entire team that's been so cool, is allow people to step over into the metaverse and into Web3, even on the device that they have. So we've kind of lowered that barrier of entry. We know a lot of people won't be using an Oculus. So this is a way to experience without completely going in if you don't have a device. And the last thing we would want as a Black community is all of this talk about a metaverse, all this opportunity, but an inaccessibility. And I do want to say this about Web3. It's one of the reasons that I think we're going to see AR possibly take the lead in a lot of things because, 7.6 billion people in the world, and many more have mobile phones and smartphones than are ever going to have an Oculus or a headpiece. And I'm seeing, so I talk to heads of companies a lot, and a lot of my time spent in that place. And AR is it's exploding because I think companies even know you can access, more people can access that than going through an Oculus right now or some sort of device.
Yeah.
But it's pretty exciting. And
Yeah.
it's exciting.
I've heard some people have some difficulties even just staying in the headset, right? As far as just feeling nauseous or whatever. But I mean, you get over that eventually, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I did a roller coaster, and I mean, you really do feel like it's kind of wild. And I'll say this real quick too. So I actually went 7 years ago to Nepal, to Kathmandu, and hired a Sherpa and a porter, and went to Mount Everest base camp. And I had that whole experience of going there, and it was one of the best moments of my life. However, they had closed off the top of the mountain because an avalanche had happened, and Nepal closed the mountain that year. And I was only going to base camp anyway. Well, through an Oculus, I was able to experience something that most people will never experience. And that's the entire journey all the way up to 29,500 feet. So you really did have a sense that you're captured in this immersive space. So I think we're going to that place that we can experience things in a very real way.
That's exciting. All right, I had another question for Adorable. Maybe I'll stick with you for now, Stefan, because I want to hear more about your long-term plans for Black Metaverse. And I know Adorable said it was kind of a natural fit with Deeper Tones Collective and the Black MetaFest that they're building, which sounds really exciting. I got the schedule up on our screen here, so people can see. Anybody can visit blackmeta.io as well to visit the full site and poke around and see what else is happening. But yeah, so Stefan, how does that fit in with the Black Metaverse property that you've locked down and your plans for the future? Yeah. How do you see it growing?
Yeah, so it comes down to this, and I've said it from the beginning that you can see Black Metaverse as three different things in the same way that there's Black Twitter. It's not an actual thing, but it is a thing. People know what that is when you see, it's our culture.
Yeah.
Black Metaverse is that. It embodies so much, and what you're going to see as at our piece of property right now that's online are a lot of companies and organizations, startups and entrepreneurs that are now part of the ecosystem. Black Metaverse just gives us as a culture a place to be found. We're doing part of it with NFTs. Some artists are up there now, but just as a holding place for everybody, it's there. So think of Black Metaverse as both sort of the oil, as I said, that goes through everything, and it's our presence. Number two, Black people are everywhere. So the reason Adorable and the whole team has done it this way is because we're in a bunch of platforms. We as Black people, we got stuff in Decentraland, Crypto Voxel, Superworld, Insomnium, you name it, we're already there. So we're in places. And there will be an actual spot for a Black Metaverse, and we're actually looking for some of the Black-owned platforms right now. And one of them that we'll be in is We Watch Together. We're pretty excited about that. But for me, a whole lot of it depends on getting into that right spot where it's Black-owned just for us. And as a big ecosystem, we're excited about bringing it together. Lastly, what the Deeper Tones Collective is doing is exactly the goal of Black Metaverse. So it's a natural fit. And these are powerful women that are leading Deeper Tones Collection, and their ecosystem just goes everywhere. So it's pretty amazing just to be all sort of intertwined in that.
Yeah, most definitely. I can see how, the synergy kind of works together, right? And ideally, you guys both kind of motivate and add momentum to each other's causes, right?
We've actually already said that we're gonna partner again. So
nice. You want to share that, or that's under wraps for now?
Adorable. I'll let her share it. We're
right.
just excited about doing it again.
What's next on the roadmap, Adorable?
Yeah. We at Deeper Tones are really interested in before we did this festival, we were featuring weekly Black NFT artists, just one project at a time, and just putting them, uplifting them, and creating opportunities like curated space at the Deeper Tones Mansion. And so now that we've been able to produce a festival, it just feels like opportunity for us to continue doing this work, to find sponsorship, aligned sponsorship to kind of help us to create these opportunities. Because what we know we're doing is we're creating, we're opening the door for our communities, and so it feels like something that we're wanting to create on a sustainable basis, on a consistent basis, and to kind of have people have been like just diving into Deeper Tones, being a part of what we're doing, being enthusiastic about it, but we want to be able to make sure that we can create opportunities to sustain that. And there's so many creative things that are happening in the Web3 space to make that possible. There's utilizing NFTs, there's utilizing DAOs. Right now, we are like at the just very early stages of just trying to create proof of concept,
Yeah, no doubt.
proof of work, pun intended. And so we're doing the work, and we're seeing like, does this create value? Do we generate value? And if so, okay, now we have all this tech around us and all these experts, and the right ones will show up. We believe that if you believe in this project, you're going to show up for this project and do it. And stick around. We operate, for me, like I really look up to this author, Adrienne Marie Brown, and I think she sourced this quote from, and I bring this up again, but this quote that's in her book, Emergent Strategy on How to Organize, she really refers to mycelium, which I think is very blockchain-like in its approach, like how fungi have these these kind of interconnected, decentralized kind of apparatus in which they communicate and connect these different nodes, which is very, very blockchain.
Wow.
But she speaks to moving at the speed of trust. Even though things move so fast in the space and there's projects here and there, and you blink your eye and there's a whole new thing that came out, we really do believe at Deeper Tones that we're moving at the speed of trust. And that it takes a while. Like I've known Stefan in this space for 7 months now, and I've seen him and how he's shown up, and that, it felt like it was the opportune moment for us to connect and collaborate. And I really do believe in the vision of the Black Metaverse that he and Lachey are putting forth. Like I believe the work they're doing is really important. And I believe that there's opportunities for us to amplify Black voices and bet on Black people, that we are worth investing in, that we can create financial opportunities within our own community, and in doing so, heal the financial disparities that we're seeing within the Black community, is in healing also the lack of trust people have in financial institutions. So we're hoping that people just dipping their toe into this festival, just a little pinky toe, that eventually that little dip can turn into putting a foot in, and then all of a sudden you're cannonballing into that thing because you got it. You
No
feel
doubt.
confident. You understand what this technology can do and the power of it, and you can create projects that connect with it. Which is, eventually when I felt comfortable, I created. The first Deeper Tones project was Black Money. And like I felt confident in being able to create a project because I was in the space, I was listening, I felt supported. And I, besides that toe, it's like creating your first Black NFT project. That's you cannonballing into this stuff. That's you kind of just saying, I'm going to jump in and make something happen.
Yeah.
And we want people to have that courage eventually and feel like they have a network of people around them that say, okay, like, tell us what you're wanting to do and how can we connect you, and you need to talk to him, talk to David at Dream Conduit because they know this, right? You need to talk to Stefan because he's connected to da. So we can start supporting each other and creating again that village, that network in which we can support each other. Yeah.
That's what
I
it's
was
all
going to say
about.
one thing. I was just going to allude to one thing really fast and adorable. This is what happened in our groups as we met. William came in, and I know you all remember this moment. William is an educator. He has eighth graders that he's leading into the Web3 space. And he brought his idea up to Adorable in the group and said, I'd like to bring education in it. And where are kids coming in? He has taken this thing with an entire team for Saturday and run with it. And I want to tell you how cool this is. He's in Florida doing this stuff with eighth graders, and his wife teaches at a college, Aida, and they're both very involved. Well, I told him that I have another project I'm working on called Black NASCAR. It's blacknascar.com. Well, when he heard that, he said, well, can I have my students design a NASCAR? So he's actually using digital technology in his classes. And this is William, who's teaching his kids at the festival next week on Saturday. So it's all tied in. We got contacted because everyone comes into the Black Metaverse. It's been kind of a starting point. We find all these relationships. He comes here, and here he is not only teaching his eighth grade class how to make NFTs. And to be honest, if we see some of these NFTs of race cars that eighth graders have made, I'm going to put it on blacknascar.com, and some great things are happening there. So that's the jump of all of this. And Lachey, I don't know if she can hear, but the whole idea of us putting together an ecosystem is what's really been kind of the motivator, I think, that we've seen, that Black people can come together.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. He's talking about the ecosystem and us actually building and growing it. And Black Metaverse, I mean, over just a course of months, it hasn't even been a year. We're currently at like close to 4,000, members that have connected with the Black Metaverse. But what I had said in the room, I think it was last Sunday, it's not about the number. It's not about the overarching number. It's really about the impact that we're able to make as an ecosystem. Every single Sunday, we are able to connect with one another. Every single Sunday, there are individuals that are collaborating, in Web3 projects. I mean, this is specifically what we're talking about. We're talking about Web3 projects that individuals are jumping into, and that's to what Adorable was talking about. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. We have to do it. We have to actually not just, I know she said put a toe in. Sometimes you got to jump in, right? You got to take those risks. And so, in those conversations that evolve, every Sunday, we're able to connect individuals that not only have conversations, but actually have actions. And that is the most important thing. For us to make an impact, we actually have to have actions and build on those actions. Because without actions, it's like it never existed, right? We're here to create, and we're here to really make sure that the economic impact is benefited by those who create. So a lot of our conversations, in the Black Metaverse rooms are about, what can we create in Web3? What can we build in Web3? And how can we benefit our community with Web3 and make that economic impact? And so, so it's definitely about a village. It's definitely about our community, but it's also definitely about collaboration and making sure that we're communicating what we're doing to the masses.
And so when you look at that question, as what can we build in Web3? I mean, obviously there's no limits to that answer, but I like the way that this Black MetaFest has kind of broken it down by days, right? So you got the film day, you got the Metaverse / Crypto Voxel day, you got the Web3 Wednesday where you're going into alt space, but talking about the broader Web3 implications, right? And then you got the history on Thursday, definitely important with it being Black History Month. And then fashion, huge, and then of course the spirituality as well, which I think is a very important component, which, often when you think about the NFT space and you're thinking about monetization and money, maybe spirituality isn't what first comes to your mind, or maybe you think maybe we're not supposed to make too much money on spirituality. But I think the flip side of it is, for one, you're minting culture on the blockchain. Two, that there's all kinds of artistic, spiritual content that Black folks make that is worth it's even priceless or worth a lot of money, so I think that's a really exciting opportunity. I had a question just around when it comes to like you building this out, have you reached out to any of the Black creators that are kind of doing big things right now in the space, like maybe an Owo from Nigeria, or Kofi, like I mentioned earlier, or maybe Andre O'Shea, any of these guys kind of that are doing all right on the sales front? Like, are you trying to pull in any of the big names from the Black creator community, in the near future, or for the MetaFest?
For the MetaFest, I was just going to say real quick, we had Dark Mist come
nice.
in.
Yeah, Dark Mist, another amazing artist.
Unbelievable. His presentation that he did, we highlight different people each Sunday night. His presentation was out of this world. I don't have enough that I can say about him, but really quick, there's some development on the side right now of African Metaverse. I don't want to get into it now, but I've met 3 times now with a group that's interested in doing that. And the tie between Black Metaverse and African Metaverse, we also want to highlight what people are doing in Nigeria, Kenya, and Dark Mist told us of a lot of countries where they're using just a cell phone and doing NFTs and making money off of that.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's opened up a business. So we're behind in any way that we can, showing the art of people across the ocean in Africa, all different parts of Africa, value. We can bring exposure to people. So we're open to really anyone coming in and sharing with the group. Because it's big enough, we can give people quite a bit of exposure.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Black Manifest, I know you want to see David kind of
It's early. Like, it's so early. Like, it's so early. In that I think sometimes people, like, for instance, like right in the past, I think there's so many ships that we feel like we never were able to even get on. It sailed away. And when we say it's early, folks, it's early.
No doubt.
Like, it's still
Get
like
on the
it's
ship.
an unsaturated. Yeah, get on the rocket ship, go to the moon with us, right? another crypto terminology.
That's it.
But I mean, I think that's something I think that's what's so refreshing when I stepped into this space, was just the level of creativity. You're talking about the monetization of spirituality, but I think also a lot of artists or people who always thought about wanting to be creative, or how they could even maybe they don't think they have a creative bone in their body, but this is the space to reinvent yourself. And I think that's also, especially as Black people, like us having the opportunity to finally get to a place where it's not about just our Maslow's needs of security. We can self-actualize. We can be different. We can reinvent ourselves. We can create and be celebrated. And I think that's something that a lot of people want and crave as well. It's a sense of belonging and creativity. And also, of course, I mean, you're going to find there's a spectrum. There's folks who want to buy into projects and hold them. That's the terminology called a hodler, just hodling, like holding into it. There's people who want to learn how to come in here and like, all right, I want to, just like you would flip a house, they want to flip projects.
Yeah.
There's a space for you no matter where you like land in the ecosystem, and it's early, and you should come in and be a part of it, because as it eventually will blow up and there'll be NFT Happy Meals or whatever, like you want to make sure that you're in before it gets so commercialized that it's now it's like
that's true.
water,
I heard
right?
McDonald's is already they're opening up in Decentraland, right? I think Lachey had something she wanted to add there too.
Well, I just wanted to kind of go back to just the Black diaspora, right? And as it pertains to Black MetaFest. I mean, we're not only having individuals that are, United States born, within the Black MetaFest. We were talking about Meta Mondays. We're going to be having Onye Ude, who's Ghanaian. He lives here in the States, but what he's really going to be talking about is the artists that are in, Africa, and really bringing the conversation to be globalization, right? We're not only saying, hey, you in the United States who celebrate, Black History Month in February, let's talk about it. No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it globally, how we as Black folks, globally can come together, work together, collaborate, and make things happen. Okay. So, so that's just Monday. So you'll be seeing sprinklings of everybody, across Black Metafest throughout the week. And to the point of Black Metaverse, that's just what we do, every Sunday is bringing that globalization. We'll have someone like Mr. Metaverse. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he'll be plugging into an 8 p.m. conversation
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
here in the States. So
Yeah.
it is
These
about all of this. It's
Yeah,
about all
it's
of
it's
this.
really been amazing, just the international effort and the way that, I mean, I almost feel bad for them, but it's kind of cool too that a lot of Asian people that we've worked with and Indian people, from the eastern side of the world really stay up and like have been learning a lot with us and really, almost syncing to our time zone. It's crazy at the Dream Conduit specifically, but then even in other groups that I'm plugged in with on Clubhouse, and just being able to connect with these guys. And even on this show, I've had Aniket from India was our first interview. I talked to Kofi from Ghana. I talked to Liz in Malaysia. So it's been really cool to kind of pull those voices from all over the world. And, they're cognizant of their time zone, but still, wanting to be part of this conversation and join us. So it's really exciting. And congratulations to you guys in the Black Metaverse and your space you keep holding every Friday or every Sunday. It's really amazing. And I really just want to pause to acknowledge how cool it is to have this conversation with you guys, especially for Black History Month, and really just it's being an important subject. And like you're saying, trying to convince people to get on the ship and really realize the potential that we have here in Web3, specifically for Black folks, to really create a name and create this new economic engine and take part in it. Like you said, we've often either been exclusively cut out specifically of these opportunities or have missed the boat for whatever reason, so we have this really interesting opportunity. And I just want to give a shout out to anybody watching us on Twitch. Thank you for joining us live. Don't feel shy if you want to ask any questions in the chat. We will have a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. This has been a really awesome, fruitful conversation. We're going to keep it going. I did want to see if you guys wanted to share. I think I did share the Black Money Project, Adorable, that you have briefly on the screen. But I want to give each of you an opportunity to share any other Web3 projects you're working on. Maybe we'll start with Adorable, because I know you got the Black Money Project, if you want to just share a little bit about that. And then we'll go to Lachey and then Stefan, just sharing, what else do you got going on in Web3?
Yeah, and thank you, David, again for giving us the opportunity to talk about this. This is exactly what we do every day in the Deeper Tones and at the Black Metaverse. So it's cool to have our project supported as well. Thank you for being a part of that. Yeah, so Deeper Tones, as I kind of mentioned, our Genesis, our Genesis project is called Black Money. It was envisioned by myself. I had been inspired by being in a lot of the different rooms back over the summer. And I got to this point where I was like, well, what is an NFT that my dad would buy? And I couldn't identify any project that he would really want to buy, or anybody that I know who isn't in this kind of space where there's monkeys and fish and poop and all these different things that people are making, and then like love and light, right, to all these projects. But I was like, well, who would buy this that I know? And I wanted to do something that I knew was going to be for the Black community, because that's important to me, to create opportunities. Like, what would be the bat signal? And through a bunch of synchronicity, I came across the concept of Black Money. And it's a project that's near and dear to all of our hearts, as it features Black heroes. Features Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and Jackie Robinson. And we just have it's literally a set of US bills. And I myself have been a digital collage artist. And so I digitally manipulated US dollars and stripped them of slaveholders. And I infused them with Black heroes. And then I changed the title of the money from the United States of America to United for the Culture. And infused all these different things. And I made the theme and the central focal point of these heroes, their lives celebrated by taking actual images of items that are connected to them. Like on the Martin Luther King Jr. bill, I have the handcuffs that were used to take him away to Birmingham on the bill. And so all the bills there's 319 unique bills that also have been tinted in the color of Pan-African liberation, the red, black, and green flag. And so the bills are in the colors of liberation, and on them tell the story of that hero. And we have created this opportunity of having an underground railroad Discord where you have to like know someone in the project who is also it's a Black created and a Black collected project. And so the phase one of the project is this really long-winded pre-sale where we're just having people collect Black money. The next phase is we're tokenizing Black money in the spring. And then there's also some amazing gamification that's coming down the pike. I'm in talks with working with HBCUs, having some young people in the South kind of help take our project to a more technical space. For now, it's just an NFT project on the Solana blockchain, but then it's going to be something where we tokenize, and then we're wanting to connect with small Black businesses and accepting Black money as a form of like rewards, so that they could trade this money and have a Web3 presence with their business. So it's a really exciting project, and I'm really grateful.
Cool.
I've also the Deeper Tones Mansion that we're going to be at on Wednesday is also Black money holders. That's the space for them to gather and connect. So a part of our roadmap is that you have a Black mansion that you can hang out in and be a part of these different projects. So thank you for letting me talk about it.
Black Wall Street or make some homage?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. I mean, Artsy, who you have to have on your show. I do
have to have her on our show. Yeah, I'm talking metaverse builders.
She built a Black Wall Street, so you need to have her come through.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's interesting too, because I like the alt space has, obviously it's a really cool VR option, and it's definitely metaverse. It's not technically Web3 as far as having like a direct blockchain connection, but it definitely gives the opportunity to really carve out your own space. And of course, through your Discord or however you want to try to gate that space, there is still the opportunity to make it exclusive to your holders, right? And maybe you want to just touch briefly on why you chose to go with Solana for the Black money drop, and how it's been for you. Has it been easy or difficult?
I mean, bro, we could have a conversation about these chains, and I know I don't want to get any hate mail from these Ethereum maxis, but I just, I wanted to go with the chain that felt like it was sustainable for the planet, to be honest. Like I wanted to, because I do believe Black people care about the environment. It also is a chain that has really high processing power. And if you're thinking about like us having the opportunity to monetize and tokenize a chain, I wanted a chain that had the ability to actually have low gas fees. So I'm not charging people exorbitant amounts just on gas. And I wanted a chain that felt like the chain of the future. And I think Solana really performs really well and has a lot of great projects that come out on it. Great Protocol being one of them that I'm excited about kind of integrating into the Black Money project. And so Solana just feels like it's a smart bet for me and what my needs were for my project. And as I do subsequent projects, I still think there could be the possibility to branch out. But for now, I feel really happy with Solana's processing power and its low gas fees and how that translates into, not taking up as much energy as some other chains do.
Yeah, that's cool. And I know you're talking gamifying it possibly too, and I've heard that Solana has some interesting opportunities there on the gaming side, because of the speed and also because of their programming language Rust. It's supposed to work really well with Unreal Engine, so hopefully that'll pan out for you. That's really exciting, and definitely very cool creative concept, basically reclaiming money and redefining Black money. I love it. Jackie Robinson here.
Wait, David, do I detect a Canadian accent?
Yeah, I'm coming here from Manitoba. I'm out in the prairies up north.
Well, what I'm saying is Canadian? Another thing about Black money that I'm finding that's fascinating is that we're getting speaking of the diaspora, we have Black people from all of the diaspora that's interested in it, and the derivatives of making Black Canadian money. What would that look like? What are Black Canadian heroes? Like, I'd love to see I'd love for you to be an owner of Black money, and I'd love to see what type of derivative you might make if you were to make a type
Wow.
of that. And then Black UK money. There's like a lot of like it's going to be teaching us about the heroes of each place. Because a lot of what we put on our money is who we're glamorizing, right? And
That's
it's who
so
we're
true.
uplifting as our country's heroes. And when we change the narrative, and we as Black people can say this is what we value across the globe on a digital blockchain dollar, that's really at the heart of what I think would be powerful about kind of creating a Black money movement around the globe.
That's
Is
pretty
Black
cool.
people and other cultures redefining what they believe this money and currency could be. And there's a spiritual component of that. It's healing for our ancestors. I think there's a lot to be said about that. So I'm just gonna leave that there and see what happens.
All right,
And
cool. I
that's my
like it.
share.
And I'm looking at this transformation graphic here, digitally cleaned of slaveholders and replaced with Black heroes. That's pretty cool. I have to say, giving a quick plug to Canada, I think we were the first or one of the first to actually put a Black person on our currency. Unfortunately, it was just temporary, but we did actually mint paper dollars, $5 bills with Viola Desmond, who was a African Canadian activist in Nova Scotia, who led kind of almost similar to sit-ins, but it was at movie theaters. And she sat in where she wasn't supposed to at a movie theater, and civic disobedience, and led to laws changing. And so yeah, she did actually get on our actual official dollar bill or $5 bill. So that was nice. It would have been cool if it was permanent, but it's something. Okay, we'll go to Lachey next. That was really cool. Thanks for sharing. Adorable. That's a really awesome project. Everybody can check that out on Adorable's Twitter, and I'll drop the link in our chat here as well. Lachey, what do you got going on Web3 wise? Any other projects you'd like to share with us?
Well, first, I just want for us to take a second to celebrate Adorable, right? I think, first of all, she's just amazing, right? She's just amazing, y'all. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. For me, the one main thing that I am doing in Web3 is promoting individuals like Adorable. That is like, I feel like one of my key missions within Web3 is to make sure people know about Adorables and make sure people know about what individuals are doing right now in these spaces so that we can support, get behind them, and push these projects forward. I think, that is really important to me. So, want to give Adorable all these flowers for everything she's doing in her individual spaces, but what she's doing as a collective space and bringing us all together to collaborate, make movements, and make impact, And so, like I said, just got much love, much love, much love, much love. Stuff. Because,
So much love for you too.
We as Black people, the one thing that people need to see around the world is that we support one another. And that no matter what each pockets that we have going on, that we can come together, we can work together, and that we can make things even bigger and extraordinary together, right? And so for my part is being that individual that stumps the ground and brings out those projects and brings out those individuals, even those individuals that may be hiding, right? Wondering, should I jump in? Hey, I'm gonna pull you into this space because I know you want to be here. I know you want to grow with us, right? So that's my major mission. I definitely have projects going on. I'm on different councils. I'm actually a newly minted council member for Crypto World. So we're moving things in that space. I'm, actually a council member for a new platform called Voices, which is a new audio visual subscription platform. So I'm investing in that.
And that's on blockchain, or?
That is on blockchain.
Interesting.
It's new, so you may not have heard about it, but we're creeping in there, cool, right? Cool. And so, I'm just on a lot of investing in companies that are going to move the creator economy forward. And those are just some avenues that I'm currently, in that space. But then I also have spaces in which, I showed you the picture earlier of my kids, and what's important to me, to my core, is helping my community move forward, and that includes my family move forward. So me and my oldest daughter, we just created a nonprofit organization called Lemonade for Life, and it's an organization that started actually about 3 years ago, in which we in Atlanta around Atlanta, she was doing lemonade stands, and all that money was going towards helping the cause of eradicating homelessness. And so, in the environment that we're in right now, she's about to start minting NFTs for her Lemonade for Life project. So, mommy's
Wow.
helping her with that.
You
And
must be
what
so
can we
proud.
transform
How
that
old is she,
into?
if you don't mind me asking?
Oh no, I don't mind you asking. So I have my my oldest one. She's 12. So that's my Savannah, and so
Mm,
she's gonna be, like I said, she's gonna be minting her lemonade for life,
very cool.
project. And so, and my other two girls, their artwork is going to be submitted, or it's actually submitted in the Black MetaFest Youth Day. So, I'm not only talking about getting youth into the movement, I am bringing my youth to the movement, and helping to really be a part of the beginning of this, because they can build their legacy now. They don't have to
That's it.
wait till after college. They can build it now. That's one of the beauties of Web3. Is really allowing our community at every age to jump in and get involved. So, so that's a little bit about my part. But then again, I know you're about to segue into Stefan. And so really partnering with him on Black Metaverse and seeing how can we make this thing grow? How can we make this project, this ecosystem evolve, to make, a wider impact? So I got a lot going on, but I definitely want to segue into Stefan
That's
and
really
the
cool. And
Black
I hope you'll let me
Metaverse.
know when that lemonade thing is live. That sounds like a cool project I might want to get involved with, support. But yeah,
Thank
Stefan,
you.
please do share what's going on with Black Metaverse and your Web3 projects.
So I got to say this real quick because y'all, the human part of all this technology is at the bottom of it. It's the core. Say it this way that, we have the metaverse or Web3, but generally there's four areas that we talk about a lot: virtual reality, mixed reality, extended reality, and augmented reality. And the similarity between all of them is that word reality. So when you actually talk about your daughter, that's a very real person doing a very real thing, and it's tied to a very real blockchain. I'm gonna just go real quick to my granddaughter, 9 years old. We're sitting there and we were going over a website, and again, it's Black NASCAR. And we're very excited because I've been contacted by so many people in a massive industry that we as Black people haven't been part of. Yo, tomorrow, a HBCU car is going to be in NASCAR. Grambling University is going to be in NASCAR. An alumni who now owns the car company that's in it, they have a car in NASCAR. And Michael Jordan owns one. Emmett Smith now owns one in NASCAR. But this is really big for Grambling to be represented in there. My granddaughter and I are looking at this website, and I'm highlighting Black NASCAR drivers. 3 days later, she's in school. She comes back and she says, Pop, guess what we learned about today? And I said, what? She said, NASCAR. And I said, that didn't make any sense to me. Like, what kind of school is teaching about NASCAR? She said, it's part of social studies. And I'm going to tell you, as I don't know how that community, it seems like a all white community, is part of
Definitely
social
does.
studies. However, she was able to say, oh, my pop and I have a website called Black NASCAR. So I communicate that to the Wendell Scott Foundation. Wendell Scott he's really the father of NASCAR. His foundation, he was the first one to win a NASCAR race. So
Oh wow.
everyone knows that. He's heroic. His grandson sees a message that I put out and he contacts me. And this is the grandson. Again, Wendell Scott is in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And they were doing a really big celebration of him last Saturday. He contacts me and says, listen, I can see a way for us to work with you. I'm sitting there watching him on Twitch, all this technology coming together. And then they said, now we have something to auction. And it's 3 NFTs. Somebody had made an NFT of the one trophy that Wendell Scott got for winning that a massive NASCAR race. And they made it in 3D, and then a real model of a NASCAR of his car. And it's the first one
Oh
that's
wow.
ever been done. Yeah, and they were auctioning that off, and then a trading card. So we got involved with this part of where very real life of young people, people in school are touching something that's technology, and then actually in our Black Metaverse this week, young kids, again, I said with William and his wife Aida and so many other educators are actually bringing the digital community to young people right here as part of Black Metaverse. The other thing I can mention is that we're finalizing some talks right now with Superworld to they're doing some things that we really like. This has been a while and being in talks with them to actually develop some Black Metaverse properties on some historical sites. I can't say where they are. Very excited. And I do want to say that their CEO, Rish, has reached out, and I just find him and his team really, really great to deal with. I see what they're doing, and they get the vision of what Black Metaverse wants to do. So we're very excited about starting to build out there.
Very cool.
So I can share right now.
Yeah, Superworld is definitely an interesting AR augmented reality kind of metaverse, right? Yeah, it's an interesting platform and a lot of really cool creative things that you can do. Yeah. And there's a couple others I think that are doing a similar kind of thing where they're trying to do an overlay. I think there's Open VR and one other ones. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that works with owning those plots of land and then being able to throw up like different AR displays and that kind of thing. Before we move on, Stefan, I would love to hear a little bit. One of the first stories I heard about you and NFTs was when you were getting into the space and you managed to somehow sell NFTs for the express purpose of buying a goat, I believe. Was it in Africa? You want to share a bit of background on that and how that successful NFT little micro project, what it taught you about the space?
Yeah, really quick. Last year in January, February, I was watching this whole NFT thing just explode. Kind of amazing things happening. And it went from people having a work of art to now I generated 10,000 pieces or 12,000 or whatever. And I saw, little monsters, and as adorable, and Lachey said, all kinds of things. There were the camels, there were goats, and all kind of dogs. So I do work. I have a organization, a nonprofit called Help Anyway, and I work with a lot of different agencies here in Raleigh. It's just called helpanyway.com. Well, I wanted to find a way that we could actually bring a NFT into a real world and help a real world problem. So I took the model of the man who traded a paperclip for a house. True story. He did it. Kind of amazing. He just wanted to trade up. He got a book or something. Then he got this and he got a car, traded all the way up to a real house. Legendary story. Well, I wanted to see if I could trade an NFT of a picture of a goat for a live goat. And I wanted to show the utility in that it's not just something that's out there in a wallet or whatever. This is actually something that can help someone. So someone actually had gifted me a monster, and I traded a monster up to a camel. And then I started putting some tweets out there that I wanted to actually trade a NFT and buy a live goat. Some people saw that, and I sweetened the deal with a domain name. And I think I gave him NFTfreebies.com. So I inserted that as it's a really good one. It's $1,000 domain, So anyway, after 7 days, somebody had bought it, and he bought the entire vision. So we work with Heifer International and Food for the Hungry. Both of them, you and I can sit here. We can buy all kinds of things for other countries right now that we'll get to them. So I'm sitting here buying a live goat. The creator of that, Master Buzz, said, "Hey, you're the guy I heard that traded a goat for a camel for a goat. Do you think you could do that again?" So he gives me some more camels. And then I do it again, and somebody else gets the idea. Wow, you mean if I buy this camel, you're going to buy a goat? And we did it again. And then the next one. So the next one, we had made enough that I thought, you know what? We can actually buy more. So this time I'm buying a goat and a chicken, and literally sitting the same place that I was right now. Again, my granddaughter, she doesn't understand all this stuff about blockchain and all this, but she did understand that Pop traded that little animal that's there, sold it, and bought a goat for a family that's in Africa. So the utility, I just wanted to show in real life, this isn't just little images. It's not just something that's electronic or digital. this can be life-changing for someone. And when we all find our way to give back, and everybody on the screen is doing that, you can change the world with this. Web3 is a world changer. It's a game changer. And that's just a little thing of taking a very small thing and making it into a real world solution.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Stefan. I heard that at a time when everyone was so high on the Bored Apes and every other crazy generative project coming up. And I was just like, that's like a breath of fresh air, you know, like this is what Web3 is really all about, you know, like that. It was just, I was really inspired by that.
It was kind of a protest against that, to be honest. It was a sort of a protest, my way of saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this to make a fatter wallet. I'm just going to trade that for that. That's the whole reason I did that. And by the way, if anybody's listening to this, I have more camels right now that I'm trading for the exact same thing. You buy camel, I buy goat. That easy. You can get in touch with me.
And what's your OpenSea where they can find it?
Oh boy, I don't know what it's called. Actually, if you just write in there, trade camel for goat, you're probably going to get. It's the only one.
Find Stefan on Twitter.
Link you find me on.
Oh, that's awesome though. Congrats on that, man. The fact you still got it going on too. That's really cool. And definitely shows a perfect, very simple use case. And to your point about changing lives, you know, like even the artists that I've spoken to so far, you know, some are at different stages of their career. Maybe their life hasn't changed from their NFTs yet, but they're definitely finding, you know, a rewarding avenue, right, for their creativity and a way for people who, you know, vibe with what they're putting out and who want to support their endeavors to just directly support them. And that's just the most important part of it all. Like you say, it comes back down to the human being and actually being able to give direct support to those who, you know, are creating things that you like at its base level. And even the services, goods, products, everything can be connected to an NFT now. So it's definitely exciting. All right. Another one of the questions I had for you, we're going to be wrapping up soon. I know I want to give anybody in the chat, if you have any questions, Web3 questions for our guests here, feel free to ask. We'll have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end if there are any questions. Thank you again for joining. Please do follow. We're live every Saturday with Web3 Warriors, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So one of the other questions I had for each of you was just, I think we've all touched on it in your own way, kind of, you know, why it is important for Black folks to really take advantage of this. And, you know, whether it's jumping on the ship, whether it's seeing the opportunity to actually change lives at the ground level, or it's for your own family, like what Lachey was talking about. I think those are all kind of really important things that you've touched on. So maybe connecting that with a different question, you know, that I alluded to at the beginning, the FUD, you know, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the people saying NFTs are a scam. You know, when you look at what I just described as far as like, take Kofi, for example, taking these masks, selling it on the blockchain, receiving compensation, and then putting that back into his community to buy 3D printers and computers for people in Ghana, you know, there's no scam across that entire line, right? And there's no way that you can look at a project like that and call it a scam. Like, it's just no way. So it's unfortunate that, you know, the narrative out there is it's so easy to just throw it away and say all NFTs are a scam, or NFTs are just a waste of time, or whatever. You're wasting money on a JPEG without seeing the underlying reason why NFTs have value. So with that in mind, maybe I'll start with Adorable, and we'll go to Lachey and then Stefan. You know, what do you say to creatives, Black creatives specifically, that are looking at this space and, you know, shrugging it off and maybe thinking that it is a scam or believing the FUD? You know, how are we going to continue to pull them on board? And maybe it is just doing what you guys are doing, which is amazing. But what do you say specifically to people that maybe have that mentality, starting with Adorable?
Well, I mean, I think that's a really important question to know. And also, we have to be real. There are scammers in this space.
Very important.
And there are people who are doing very nefarious activities. Right. And we've heard some really horror stories, you know? So it's like people can get hurt. And I think what keeps us safe, again, is coming into environments like the Black Metaverse, the deeper tone space. There's a lot of spaces. The Dream Conduits is a very beautiful, safe space that you've cultivated as well. And I think being in community, like having tribe, having like, you know, people that you can really trust and lean on. I wouldn't come into the space and just start, you know, I mean, how I started off was literally coming into the space, listening, people getting to know who I am, there being a sense of relationship. I think Stefan really hit the head on the nail when he was talking about reality and connection and human and being in the qualities of what it means to come together. I think that what's so unique about the NFT community is that, yeah, there's money involved, there's art, but there's also like family, and there's acquaintances that become closer, and we hear, specifically on, our the people on this call, including yourself, our tribe really is kind of like a clubhouse based space where we're hearing each other's voices consistently. We're cueing into each other. And I think just building that sense of trust and connection is important. I think especially for Black people, I think we do need that level of having someone explain it to us, where we're not like having to like learn it from a robot. I mean, how many of you have ever like been on the phone and you hit 0 to talk to a human when you need some support with something?
Yeah.
You want to work things out with people. And so I think that, to folks who feel a little uncertain and skeptical, I would say just showing up and learning. A lot of people that I know, my friends and family, are really intimidated by this space. I think it could be so easy to just throw up your hands and say, I don't get it. And I think that I get that a lot. People are frustrated and they'll turn to me and say, Adorable, I don't get it. And I'm like, you know what? You didn't know how to walk. She figured that out, and it's one of those things where it's a new language, it's a new landscape. It can be scary because money itself is transforming, value is transforming. A lot of people are seeing that the NFT space and the stock market space, like what happened with GameStop, like money isn't behaving, finance isn't behaving how it used to behave. We should be taking notice of that. Finances are going to be digitalized and we should take notice of it. So even if you're not ready to participate in NFTs, I would just say stay educated and show up so that you can start acclimating to what is happening in this space, so that we don't have to feel like we don't know what's going on. I think that is at the heart of what can create a sense of stability and move people past the flood into just being on a boat, just paddling on a boat. Like
No doubt.
you're above it because you have a knowledge of what's in that water,
That's
so you're
it.
not
Just gotta
scared of
coast.
it.
Learn as you go, right? I want to
Learn
give a
as you
shout out
go.
to Frog in the chat. What's up? And we got the Dream Conduit dropped in here. What's up? Saying what's up to Adorable, Stefan, Lachey. Smash that follow. Appreciate you guys tuning in. But yeah, Adorable, you touched on really important points there. And like you say, I mean, and yeah, that is part of what the Dream Conduit is about, being that holding hand and helping people onboard into this space and just convince them that it's not a scam as long as you're working in the right circles, and that it is also a huge opportunity for anybody who's a creative, even anybody who's a business owner. Honestly, any service or goods, there's probably a way you can plug in and really take your business to a new level. So Lachey, we'll go to you, and then Stefan.
So while Adorable was talking, actually right before she said it, what I wrote was communicating reality. Right there is there's a huge sense of what Web3 is, and I think what individuals are probably needing to find and really need to tap into are those areas in which they can actually understand, like information that actually translates to them to a level of understanding that really kind of grabs them. And so, you know, information, there's a lot of it out there about Web3. There's a lot of it out there about NFTs. What is a metaverse? And for our part, it's really honing in and sharing like those aspects that may help individuals take those bite sizes. I know, for instance, I love, now that it's, up and running, tapping into culture tech .io, which is ran by Vita Ridgway, who's actually the one who's coordinating Meta Monday movies that's coming up this coming up Mondays. But tapping into those resources and sharing those resources with individuals so that they can really see, what is the overarching picture, but also how is this actually being applied, right? And so research is key. And one thing that we say about Black Metaverse, when individuals come up on the stage, they're like, well, should I do this and should I do that? Our thing is, we need you to do your own research. Here are some tools that you can look at. Here are some tools that you can research yourself. But the bottom line is they have to do their own research. You don't want to take just our word for it for how NFTs can be applied to your life. You may come up with something totally off the wall, off the chain, different than what's going on right now. NFTs, in music, NFTs, as far as in the metaverse, NFTs in whatever, right? The thing is that for individuals to just jump in, see the spaces that you like. I mean, we're talking about NFTs, we're talking about metaverses, but Stefan talks about domains. Hey, why can't we just take the part about obtaining a digital, asset? If that allows you to jump into the space and you to understand the space at the beginning, then jump into that space. If NFTs allows you to jump into the space and allows you to understand it better, jump into that space. And then that will allow you to open up to the bigger space of Web3. So
Most
it's kind of
definitely.
like, what I feel is, once again, research and just find that area that they can really tap into, maybe even your current passion, or things that you've even had a desire to really even explore, and just the reality of it all. I think an adorable mention at the beginning of our conversation, this allows us to be whoever we want to be. She also talked about, and every single time when we end a session with her, of gaining and really tapping into Black wealth. This is an avenue for us to do that. But you need to understand how you as an individual can do it, but how us as a community can do it together.
Yeah, and when we think about the creators in our space and the amount of waves and culture definition that we are able to push, and this might be the first time that we can actually fully monetize all of that creativity, all of that enormous influence that we have in creative spaces, and truly get what every creator deserves, in compensation for that. And I really like what you said about dip in where it's natural for you at first. I definitely came from the gaming space, and that's actually why I'm running this podcast through Twitch specifically. And really trying to target gamers. I do a little bit of game streaming too, and really just trying to convince people forget all the hype, forget all the chasing, big NFTs that are going to make you thousands of dollars, and just look at the actual technology. Gamers should be able to understand having this value in the digital space way more than other people. Maybe it's hard for other people to grasp, but for me, coming from the gaming space, it was oh, so I can actually buy this art directly from the artist and show it up in a digital space that I can own myself, and I'll have it forever. That was just boom, that was all I needed. But then after I saw more of the implications and heard what Stefan did with the goats, and other inspiring stories, what Kofi's doing, minting that important history of African masks on the blockchain, that's when I was really hooked. And I realized, but it was definitely the gaming and the digital assets that really brought me in initially, and really the metaverse view and kind of that Ready Player One ultimate, kind of possible trajectory that we're on. So yeah, that was a really important point. I think that there's something for everyone in the Web3 space, whether it is domain names, whatever services, goods you might want to try to help push, or just collecting if you're into digital assets like I have been, and supporting amazing artists, because there's no shortage of amazing artists that you can support directly. So thank you, Lachey. That was an important point. And lastly, we'll go to Stefan. Again, if there is any questions from the chat, you have this last opportunity before we're winding down here. I want to thank everybody who's with us. Please follow if you haven't already. Stefan, what are your thoughts on people who are hesitant to get into this Web3 space, and what do you say to them?
I'm raring to go right now. So along with gaming, this area of play to earn, I don't even know how to say enough about it. There's billions of dollars being poured into this industry right now, and they're looking for people who already game. That's an easy access point for a lot of people in play to earn. And there are companies that are paying people, this, to play games.
Yeah.
But if people don't know that, you never know. We in our room, we'll have people there who own companies and run different things. And I find out how massive this industry is. And I find people actually looking to hire. I also own hireblack.com. And I find these agencies that are looking to hire Black candidates for careers. And they're in different rooms looking around, but this play to earn is a big thing. I want to say this real quick. The big things about Black Metaverse is I don't really care who gets the credit. I want to work with everybody. And when Deeper Tones came along, it's like, yeah, this is the right thing for us to do. And we just vibed. Black Professionals in Tech Network, they've been doing some great stuff for a long time. And they did a master class. It was on the Metaverse the other day. I can't remember if it was Metaverse or Web3 or both. And Shay and I were there. And here we find another whole ecosystem that exists. And tomorrow, well, actually on Monday, because we did our segment earlier, I'll be speaking at another conference called Gatherverse. And Gatherverse Summit it's a massive thing that's happening next week on the Metaverse. It's kind of another lane that's over there. And I just want to say that I'm not, it's no competition between all of this stuff. I actually like bringing the information, and because we own Black Metaverse, we can bring all of this stuff.
Big umbrella.
It's a big umbrella. That's what it is right there. Let me just say this real quick, Dave. You know how I am with domain names. It's a piece of real estate. When you own really good real estate, you really own a lot, because it really does become that umbrella that makes, I can say who's not at the table, find them and help to bring them exposure under this umbrella. And it's a really great place to be in. So I want to say this real quick. And stepping into Web3, make sure you own your own name as a domain. You might want to set up something later on that's going to be in Web3, but just own your name as a sort of stepping place of .com or .io. .xyz is big right now. But it's a valuable piece of digital real estate that you actually need to own, and you can use it to be a stepping place into the environment, your customers, clients, your people who are going to be accessing whatever you bring to the metaverse. So make sure you own your own name as a domain.
I like it. And you're thinking like your actual personal name, not just your business name.
I think you actually need both of them, but make sure you get your personal name. So David, you've heard me in a lot of rooms.
Yeah, I think I've heard you say that, but I definitely don't own my personal name yet. But I should.
Yours, I don't know if you can get, but if you could, and by the way, I'll tell you offline, because we found that if we say some things online, people will take the idea and might take the name. How about this? I got one for you.
Leaking too much alpha on this podcast, hey?
BlackIdentity.com. We as Black people can't get, because a white person owns it, and he owns 562 Black domains that we can't use for new businesses. I'm just putting this out there because they're held. We weren't at the table when this stuff was being bought as pieces of land. So literally, Black publishing we can't get because they're in his portfolio. We can't get, as I said, Black identity. Imagine what we could do with that. So people who are on here, I'm just saying, find these concepts, research it a lot. Domain names is a start. And again, we're here because of Black Metaverse, period. It's open every door.
I gotta give you credit on that one too, Stefan, because I think on domain names, I really lit a fire under me, and I did end up grabbing some, and one of them was a .eth, which came back to be very rewarding when the ENS came around. I was like, oh, that was a good call. I got that one.
Yeah.
So thanks for your continuously convincing us to look at domain names. And if you're thinking of a cool idea and just lock down the domain. It's a relatively cheap thing you can do to just kind of force you to get that initial momentum and then be like, hey, I got this domain name. What am I going to build now? So yeah, it's a very cool opportunity. And there are Web3 domains, .io. I mean, whether they're technically Web3, but they're just being very popular in the Web3 space, .xyz, .io, .nft. Lots of interesting domain names to look at. Thank you, Stefan, for mentioning that and your other work that you got going on. We're looking forward to seeing that Black Metaverse. Is it .com or .io? You own both?
.io.
.io.
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, we look forward to seeing that umbrella continue to grow and expand. I hope everybody registers for the Black MetaFest. We have dropped the link for their site in the chat. If anybody is wanting to register, it's starting this Monday with the film at the We Watch Together platform, which I'm interested to see. That sounds really cool. I'm not seeing any questions from the chat, so I'll open it up. Any last thoughts from any of you, popcorn style? Or maybe we'll start with Adorable and then Lachey and then Stefan, just because we're on Discord and everyone get confused. Closing thoughts, Adorable?
I just want to take a moment to presence our ancestors and all the ways in which they made it possible for us to even dream this big. This, I mean, this festival would not be possible without a lot of strives that have been taken. I know you mentioned ancestor in Canada who that sister who did that work to make it so that you could have more freedom and liberation in Canada. And we have a lot of ancestors who've done that for us. And so we really are standing on their shoulders. We really are wanting to be ancestors. We are going to be ancestors someday. And we want to think about what type of ancestors we want to be. When we talk about revolutions, definitely there's a lot of money to be made in this space. And I think that the lives will be changed, but it's also us thinking about the values and us thinking about the ways in which we can bring as many people forward as possible. So I'm really excited to be kind of, again, leveraging this technology left behind by our ancestors, creating these underground railroads, creating these spaces for us to kind of bring people through. And I'm unapologetically creating Black spaces because we need them. When people ask me, or when we had a news reporter talk about this festival the other day, they're like, well, why would we need to create a Black festival? And then it's like, well, there's so much evidence that shows that we need to create Black spaces because we haven't felt like we belonged in a lot of different spaces that, that for all intents and purposes were built to keep us out. And this is a revolution where there are not many gatekeepers, and we need to own these spaces. We need to buy these platforms. We need to build our own platforms. We need to own ourselves. So there's this really deep connection to financial liberation, also ownership of ourselves and our identity and the healing that can come with that. And so I feel like we are our ancestors' biggest dream in this space. And that the metaverse is us kind of being their wildest dreams come manifest. And so I'm just really excited about what that will look like in the future, and just continuing to look forward to collaborations with folks like Lachey and Stefan and their leadership, and your leadership too, David, and looking forward to continuing to connect with you and build as well, and just
Thank you.
for us to just do this thing together, So
Yeah,
thank you for having me, and I
thank you,
appreciate you all.
Adorable. Much needed acknowledgement of the ancestors. I love it. I gotta clip that. That was beautiful. That's so true. That's what we're here for. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, and we have a real opportunity here finally to get real compensation that has been lacking historically. So we'll go to Lachey first, and then we'll finish it off with Stefan. What are you thinking, Lachey? Any closing thoughts?
Well, I'm just thinking, because I love to tap into other people. Like, everybody on the stage gives me energy to tap into thoughts. And so, for me, just kind of growing from what Adorable just said, we're making history now for our future. I mean, just let that soak in. We're making history now for our future. And, how amazing is that? We can feel it. We can feel the tinglings of what we're doing is making impact. What we're doing is going to make impact. What we're doing is going to continue to make impact. To me, that's otherworldly. That's outside of ourselves. That's things that are, within this planet that are bringing us together to make this happen. Nothing just happens for happening.
No
Right.
doubt.
And so, for me, my last thought, on this is we don't just stay within this space that we're in, these four little, tiny squares. We're outside of this space, and we're touching individuals, in New York and in California and in Ghana and in Japan. Look, the Web3 experience as Black people, because we're everywhere, it is everywhere. And so for us, we just want to bring everybody along. We want everybody to come along. And we talked about getting on the boat, but I want us to build that boat. We're building it together. And I think that's an important thing that we walk away from, is that we are doing this together. No matter what platform you're on, no matter what, spaces that we're building, we all just come together, and share what we know, and not keep it, on the inside. Because like I said, I truly believe that information and information sharing is one of the most powerful things we can do. And that's what Black Metafest next week is doing. We're sharing what we know, and we're sharing it to the community so they and us can grow. I'll leave it at that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Lachey. That's what it's all about. Keep building. Stefan.
Yeah, literally. I mean, both of y'all, the way you drew a line just now, I want to stay on that line. I can't say it any better. It goes back to our ancestors, and for me, my faith in God has been a really big part of this, to try to live it out with just character, trying to do the right thing, trying to help people and stuff. I think it's how it's all come together. And David, I remember earlier when I wanted you to come on the show and talk about Black Metaverse. The first thing I thought is, well, Lachey and I do this together. So, can we do that? Well, actually, we're working on the Black Metaverse because we're working. So all of us, can you bring all of us on the show? And I love this, that all of us are on here in equal parts. That's what it comes down to. And I want to keep sort of building in that fashion. And I did want to say this, church and, not churchy stuff, but my faith has been really important in my life. And we should expect in Web3 that we're going to see a community, probably of all types of religions, but I've been noticing some of the church services that are there. I met some people in a church lobby from Indonesia on Sunday, and I was speaking Indonesian to them because I'd been there and learned some stuff.
Wow.
And this never happened anywhere else. I hear 5 people in a church lobby, and we're there together in this spot. So I see the faith community really, everybody's coming into Web3, but I look for this to be a very big thing.
Yeah, and I think there's been, like you were saying, kind of faith community meetups already. I know I've heard Ingrid talking about going with Ope to do some prayers, I believe, in the metaverse. Yeah. And I think that's really amazing. That's like finding true, gathering and collaboration or community, that's really exciting.
David, I just want to say that it's actually Ope's prayer time that she has, that she's been kind enough to move forward to 8:00. And we've decided to do our service. So it's sort of a collaboration of what she's already been feeding into. And, she's a very faith-filled person, and Jesus means a lot to her. So we've just connected. And again, all of this is connection, all of this is just connection. So I'm very excited about it.
Very cool. And we got Bliss in the chat saying every Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's it. Yeah.
Appreciate
I
that.
love it.
All right. Except for tomorrow, apparently. All right.
No, a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. This has been like an amazing chat about the importance of this Web3 space for Black folks. A happy Black History Month. And I say every month is Black History Month. Every day is Black History Day, as we channel the ancestors and continue to build for our people and for our communities. And I think it's going to be really exciting, like you say, adorable, kind of being able to really invest directly in our people and really bet on our people. And we know the power of our art and our creativity. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us and invite everybody to tune in to the Black MetaFest this Monday. You can go to blackmeta.io if you're listening on the podcast and register through there. And we hope to see you all there. And thanks, everybody. Until next time, take care.